That is avian life for generations. That is our mission. And so we'll be doing that basing on our mission. We will undertake activities related to studying and monitoring birds because we will be working with schools. As you know, when you start with the young ones, then the knowledge goes into their heads and it doesn't come out. My children can never cut a tree because they know that birds love trees. They have participated in planting our trees. So when we start with the young ones, the young generation, probably we will make the world what it used to be, or we will make an impact and the world will change a little bit. We will be collecting and recording as we disseminate the information about how the avian life can be conserved, probably through media. If we get people that can support us, you know, we can go on TV if we can have someone there, but airtime and talk. I used to have a program on UBC that used to talk about tourism, and people had changed a little bit. Because when you know what you're talking about and you give good examples, it will change people. We will raise awareness about benefits of bird life to natural ecosystems. We will share data on the status of bird population and the habitat. And we believe that will increase on the bird knowledge within the country. So if we, for example, identified threats and challenges to bird life, and we brainstormed possible practical solutions for the conservation of bird life and its habitat, I believe we would have made a big contribution to avian life. That is both the birds and their habitat where they live. If we created collaborative opportunities for conservation networks with students, like I said, the bird watchers, either in our region or both in our region and internationally, I believe we would make a difference. I saw Sylvia here. I believe she's the one working with NFA. If we planted trees working with NFA, if the areas where we knew forests that have turned into eucalyptus and pine, which are trees that I can never plant because I love planting indigenous trees, which are known by our birds. Because bird watching, I rarely find birds in eucalyptus or in pine. I'm sorry for those who have them, who love them. You don't see birds there. If you see it, it's just sitting to rest because there's nothing to eat. Or probably if it finds insects there that it can feed on. So if the Sylvia I saw, well, I admitted her in, if she's the one that works with NFA, I would beg that we work with you and we try and plant indigenous trees if you can help us to find our seeds, and then life will be even better. Because I believe there are people with land, schools, even individuals that are happy to replant if we can help them and give them the seeds. We have what we call imported birding areas, which are sites of global conservation importance. Some of them have been disturbed. I will show you a few photographs, if you agree with me. And so if we can identify using birds to locate those sites, like it is the way this is done, and we try to restore that, it would be a good move. Imported bird areas in Uganda are identified using standard agreed criteria as per my screen that I've shared, which are objective, quantitative, as you can see on the screen. And the function of important bird areas is to identify and protect a network of sites at a scale large enough to ensure long-term survival of natural occurring bird population. And so as we do our work as our association, we will be working with other organizations, for example, Nature Uganda, which is into this, and so that we make a good move in what we are doing. In Uganda, we have about 33 important bird areas that have been identified so far. And most of the national parks are important bird areas. And the concept of using important bird areas to protect biodiversity is over 25 years now. But we have 10 national parks and 12 wildlife reserves. And we have other areas that are not in the national parks that are important bird areas in Uganda, as you can see on the screen. Mabira Forest Reserve, Sango Bay, Musambwa, several, as you can see. Yeah, and some of those areas, for example, in the east is where we find the only bird endemic to Uganda, the Fox's weaver. Lake Bisina, Lake Opeta that you can see there. Having started birdwatching, serious birdwatching in Uganda, we have found that now we can find it even in Pianupe, which is a good thing. I'm trying to be a little faster since we should be ending by 6. So the main focus of our conservation program will be dealing with the threats, which would be either to eliminate or reduce those threats to a considerable minimal level. Because sometimes important birding areas experience threats that can be severe, but people may not see them. They may be at a small level, but consistent. And so in the end, you find that the important birding area is gone. If you look at that photograph, what you see are plastic bottles at the edge of a water body. Now, if the whole area is covered with plastic, where will the water birds feed from? Where will they live? I'm one of the people that have been advocating for the ban completely of any plastic. We used to have glass bottles as a young boy. I remember Treetop, a drink, very nice orange drink called Treetop. They used to be in bottles. All these sodas used to be in bottles. I don't know where the plastic came from. And people don't know how to control littering. I'm always on the roads chasing people that litter. I remember friends of mine saying that I would be killed by chasing people and stopping them. But I told them, when I get killed, now you who are listening to me, when I get killed for chasing people that litter, please write why I was killed so that you continue with it. Maybe we can get back the world to where it was. Why would you? Some people tell me when I chase them, you see, the government has not sensitized us not to litter. And my question usually is, when did the government sensitize you to go to that supermarket to buy your yogurt to drink and then they sensitize you not to litter. You went yourself, you took yourself to the supermarket, bought the yogurt, and then you throw it on my windscreen. So I ask them, if I threw it in your compound or in your bedroom, how would you feel? Of course, very bad. Now, we're supposed to pick it after you. Do you see how bad I'm feeling by you littering? Please, keep it in your car, get home, put it in the bin, and make sure it ends where it's supposed to be. When our son was starting to learn how to talk, one of the few words he learned was, go pick it. So if you were in our vehicle and you littered, he knew how to tell you, go pick it, because he knew we had a dustbin in the vehicle where we put our litter. When we got home, he would say, Papa, big dustbin. He didn't know how to talk, but at least he knew that I can say big dustbin, meaning should I take this to the main dustbin where all the litter goes and then it ends up where it's supposed to be? What will make him litter on the road? So you can see such a place. We need to try and educate people, see that this can be cleared and our ducks can survive. If we are not careful, some of our habitats are being destroyed by agriculture. I know an area where I usually go to look for the papyrus yellow warbler and the papyrus canary. It's connected to Lake Bunyonyi. It's been turned into the potato garden. So now I have to suffer looking for these birds. What you people, what most of you call Irish potatoes, but they are potatoes. The wetland with papyrus has been turned into potatoes. I know Nature Uganda went and talked to the people. I one time found them replanting the papyrus, and I even was happy and gave them something to encourage them. But when you go back, it's still gone. Rutembe is an example that I thought I would give you. The waste that comes from the flowers that are planted there as they process, it ends up there. I know, and maybe some of you also know, that heaps of soil was added there to increase on the land, and so the bird habitat was reduced. This is the place I'm talking about. At some point, we used to count over 3 million of white-winged black terns, these ones you see. But when you look to the left of the terns, it's a flower garden. When they were building these, the area was bigger where the birds would come to rest after arriving. But when you go there now, you may not even see 1,000 white-winged terns. This is what I'm talking about when we go into agriculture destroying bird habitats as well. I have seen it along Kabare Kisoro Road, wetlands where gray-crowned cranes used to breed. Not there anymore, it's all potatoes. So as we think on what Joshua talked about, or what I talked about earlier, trying to bring back the habitats, those are some of the areas we need to start with. Agriculture expansion or agricultural intensification is one of the threats. I gave you examples. The place I talked about is called Nyamuriro Wetland, where we go to look for just 2 birds in Uganda where you are sure that you will get them, although sometimes you don't find them. But it's because of the habitat being destroyed. You imagine forests like these. I'm glad wind is protected. But imagine forests like these being destroyed, finished completely, and you find a place looking like that because you want to plant palm oil you want to plant sugarcane,